recording. All right, welcome everybody. Thank you for joining our info session on the IDA Light Monitor Grant Program. We're super excited about this program. Ashley will be walking you through the details of the program. But before we get into it, if everyone wants to pop a hello in the chat and where they're calling in from, even though I pretty much know all of you and where you are, it's always good to say hello. And if you have any questions for any of us throughout the presentation, please pop them in the chat and I will feed them to Ashley at the end of the presentation. So again, welcome. Thank you for joining us. And I will turn it over to Ashley to take it away. Oh, we also have translated captions available if you need them. There's a button at the bottom of Zoom that says kind of closed captions. If you click the arrow, you can translate to multiple different languages. You can also view the full transcript of translated captions if that is helpful for you. Hi, Waylon.
Hi, how's it going?
Good, fellow Durangoan here. All right, well, thank you guys for joining us. I will turn it over to Ashley to get started.
Cool. Thanks, Betty Maya. I feel like I know most of you at this point, but I'll give my formal introduction in case you don't know who I am. But my name is Ashley Wilson. I am IDA's Director of Conservation, and my primary role is to lead the International Darkside Places program. I've been with IDA for a little over a year and a half now. And if you haven't heard from my updates, either on how we are updating the program and providing new guidance updates for some of the techniques and different things we require for the Places program, this is a perfect opportunity for you to get introduced to some of the new things that we are rolling out. Speaking of, today we're talking about our new Light Monitor Grant program that we just launched last week. So the purpose of this presentation will be to go over that program, who are the intended audiences, how to use the program, and then also give a brief overview on how these different devices are used for monitoring different aspects of artificial light at night. So I feel the best way to go over the program will be to share my screen so you can see the same thing I'm talking about. This is a blog post on our website, so it's all available, it's already live. But already talks about the purpose of the program. IDA partnered with Asterion. They're a company based in Florida, and they provide microgrants to astronomy-based outreach efforts, and they provided funding to IDA for this device program. And it's intended to provide advocates with the resources to monitor light, as I mentioned, and specifically for those who are applying for our International Darkside Places program, because we do require different metrics and data regarding the characteristics of the applying site. And so there are two different devices that we are offering through this program. The first that many of you are familiar with is the Sky Quality Monitoring, or SQM device. Specifically the L version, it has a more narrow view. It's specifically monitoring the amount of detectable light pollution at the zenith. So this device gives an indication of how dark or how much light pollution there is for a given site. It's not the full picture for monitoring dark sky quality, but it does give us a pretty decent baseline of how dark the site is. And almost every single place, both applying and certified, use this device. So by having everybody use this simple device, it's a nice way to have a consistent metric for comparing dark sky quality for places all across the world. And of course, there are different devices that can monitor dark sky quality, but this just happens to be the most consistent one and most accessible that people use. So people can either request this device, or we recently found a new device. It's called the LM3. And this little device can measure CCT, or color correlated temperature, but can also measure lux, or the amount, the luminance, the amount of light hitting a surface per square meter, but we really want to promote this specifically for CCT. We do CCT because it is one of the metrics we require when filling out a lighting inventory. And if you think about our 5 lighting principles, the last principle we mentioned is color. So trying to get across how the lights that you pick reduce the proportion of the short or blue wavelength emissions. It's not a perfect metric to get across that description, but CCT is on all light labels. So if you think of it like a nutritional label, but for the principles of light that you are using, it's just an easy way for people to grasp that particular metric. What's really nice about this device is it's quite small. I have one here. Hopefully you can see it with my background. It's only a few inches and it pops out and there's a little device. Both of these devices are pretty accessible to purchase on their own for a wider commercial market. SQML devices are, I think they're $155 US at the moment. And then the LM3, they're about $50 US. And so if you are an advocate or a chapter or applying or certified place, and if you're interested in purchasing these devices for your own permanent use, we have links right here for you to access these devices on their own. However, the purpose of this specific program is to provide additional assistance for advocates who need additional support. So perhaps if they are internationally not US based and they may have difficulty getting access to these devices, or if they are in a novel location and there's like no existing advocate community, this could be a good way to help kickstart their efforts and help promote the dark sky movement in the future. So that's what we really want to focus on for this program. And we do mention that in our little FAQ down here, specifically who is eligible to request a device. We have this statement: priority will be given to applicants located in areas listed in the United Nations list of least developed countries. And as I mentioned, it is intended to help dark sky place applicants. So people who have a plan for using these devices for a wider range will also get higher priority. So that's the big scope of the program. Other things about it, we do have guides here on how to use each device. So, and if you apply through the program or end up purchasing your own device, they're both available. First, with the SQML, we just linked to our general guidance on our website, and we haven't changed this in the last couple of years. We still have the original SQM device listed. We do plan on updating this in the near future. So if you have questions about that, it is in progress, but if you're new to using this particular device, this is still a good resource for you to look at. It also mentions visual estimates and providing a qualitative description of night sky quality. So overall, this is a good, robust start to your night sky quality journey. And then same thing with the LM3 device. We created this PDF and it goes through how to start the device. It does need Bluetooth and a smart device to operate. So you do need to have like your smartphone on hand and in close proximity to the LM3. If it is disconnected from your phone, even from distance wise, it turns off. So that is one of the caveats, is you'll have to have pretty much both devices in your hands when you're using it. But pairing it is really easy. We provide a breakdown on the 2 major metrics of light from fixtures that this device measures, specifically CCT. We provide some screenshots of what the app on the smartphone will look like, so you know exactly what you're looking for. So if you are making recordings, especially like I said, if you are using this to update your lighting inventory, this tells you exactly what you're looking for, so you know what to report. And so you can download that PDF. Yeah, so again, what I was just saying, like more information on how to report the data. We have some standardized spreadsheets if you're using the SQML device, and it also includes other metrics like your geographic location, the time and date you're taking measurements, any environmental conditions that might be impacting the quality of dark skies when you go out a particular night. This also goes into a bit more detail about the novelty of this LM3 device. Most lighting devices are expensive, so having a device that is pretty accessible can hopefully open new doors. And one thing that we would hope to see is this could be used as a community engagement tool. So getting stakeholders and advocates and residents in your community to really look and experience quality lighting, or being able to start to identify the difference between bad and good lighting, because that's always a battle that we experience when having conversations about lighting. So there's that suggestion. We also promote our Globe at Night partnership, and being able to use these devices to contribute to community science, and giving us like a point scale estimate of how light pollution is growing. We can compare it to satellite imagery. So there's a lot of different ways to use these devices. And then once you go through the form and you feel you are a quality candidate, there is a link for you to open and submit the form. And so the form allows you to provide information about how you want to use the devices and where, like what you would expect to get out of the device if you received the device, or if you asked for both devices, there is that option. And then note that, again, people who are in the novel locations have a demonstrated financial need and or have a plan to use the devices to serve a bigger region would be receiving higher priority. So we're going to keep this open for a while. This is going to be a rolling basis program. Since we just launched it last week, we want to give our advocates enough time to be aware of the program and provide an application. And then near the end of January, our staff will come together and assess the different applicants that we receive. We will provide the devices to the higher priority applicants that we receive. And then after that, we will go through and roll out the devices until we run out of stock. So this is a limited time program. If we are not able to provide a resource to all advocates who request one, or find that the applicant does not qualify, we'll still email you so you're not left in the dark. But do keep in mind that it is a rolling program, so it might be a few weeks before you do hear a response from us. We also want to ask that if you are a recipient of our devices, that you provide some stories or photos to IDA of you using the device. And if we have that information on hand, that could be used as evidence for us to apply to another program like this in the future and provide additional assistance. So in a way, this is a pilot program. From my understanding, we've never done anything like this before. So depending on the feedback that we get from the advocate community, that might provide some additional inference on whether or not this would be beneficial in the long term. So what are my other notes? I think those are all the things that I wanted to discuss. I might have missed something, but I think I'll go ahead and open it to questions.
Thanks, Ashley. That was a great overview of the program. We're super excited about this and really glad to have you all here to learn about it with us. So Mike Wiesner has a question. IDA Dark Sky Advocates were offered an opportunity to purchase the Unihedron Sky Quality Meter at a discount. Is a similar program available for the Opal CCT meter?
I'm going to say no. IDA has a relationship with Unihedron, who is the manufacturer of the SQM, and we do not have a relationship with Opal, who manufactures the LM3 device. So the links that we actually provide are actually through Amazon or Alibaba. We were not able to purchase the devices through Opal's website directly. So no, there is no discount program for that. But like I said, the Opal is only $50 US.
Yeah, it's a pretty good deal for getting a good CCT measurement for your dark sky place applications. So David has a question. We haven't applied yet, but are planning to apply for a dark sky reserve in the next few months. Will we be allowed to apply?
As a reserve or for the device program?
I think he means for the device program.
Yeah, you're absolutely allowed to apply. And like I said, it is a limited time. So I would suggest submitting the application for the device program sooner rather than later. And there are different fields for you to explain how you'd want to use the device. So indicating that you would want to use it for an applying reserve effort would be greatly beneficial. And then my other feedback that I like to give to advocates in general is for you to submit your pre-application inquiry form to the IDSP staff sooner rather than later. That way we can get an idea that you want to start working on an application, especially for a reserve. We can make sure that you establish the core and periphery areas. That's a really critical step, especially at the beginning. And this conversation just cements your efforts, who your partners are. One thing that we're noticing is reserves like to write an MOU or memorandum of understanding between different reserve partners, because there are so many moving pieces, especially with night sky monitoring, who's doing outreach, who's getting all the information together. It's a big deal. You're working on a landscape scale. So if you haven't already, if you know pretty confidently about what area that you want to work for in the reserve, I recommend you submit both forms, the device and the pre-application IDSP form, sooner rather than later.
Thanks, Ashley. Todd has a question here. I've been told by lighting professionals that some CCT meters are more accurate than others. Can you share any info on the accuracy of the LM3 and how widely accepted it is in the lighting community and our potential audience, such as city planners and engineers?
That's a really excellent question. We do mention in the PDF that I was showing that there is a range of accuracy with these devices. I don't remember the percentage, but for example, if you purchase a device that states it's 3000 Kelvin, and if you measure it, you could get a range from 2700 Kelvin all the way to 3200 Kelvin. So because it's more of an approximation of white light, you're not ever going to get an exact value for what the product label says, but like hypothetically, if you're applying to be a dark sky place applicant, we state that fixtures cannot exceed 3000 Kelvin. You get a 3000 Kelvin fixture, you measure it, and it is 3200. We wouldn't say that is not eligible if you show that that's how you purchased it. So it's a range of proportion. There isn't too much difference in the blue content between these different values, and that's to be expected with any device. Obviously, the more expensive ones, you'll have a smaller range of variation, but it's never going to be right on. So that's part of both the industry itself and how manufacturers create white light, essentially, because that's what CCT is measuring, to how much money you want to get in the accuracy. It's pretty close in the ballpark. It gets the job done. It allows us to have these conversations. I mean, from your a visual estimate, you'll be able to tell the difference between a 2200 Kelvin fixture to a 3000 to a 4000. So you don't really need a device to measure gradients and light that much, but having the LM3 is a quantitative assessment of what color, how the light appears to human vision.
Thanks, Ashley. Yeah, and if people want a full spectrum reading of lights, those devices are available. The AscensTech Lighting Passport is a great one. I think they run from $700 to $1,000 though, so they're a lot more expensive than the LM3. And from what I know, Pete has kind of taken side-by-side measurements with a lighting passport and the LM3, and the CCT is generally very accurate to what the more expensive devices will measure as well. So it's a really good option for people to get that metric for when they need it. And Mike, it looks like you might be doing some of those side-by-side measurements as well, so let us know what you find out. Alejandro Summer says he wants to schedule a talk with you, Ashley. So
Sure, I will put my email in the chat.
perfect. And Federico asks, for those who want to start a dark sky certification program, can the collection and sharing of this data be defined as a starting point?
When it says certification program, is that for like a place applicant or is that for fixtures?
Do you want to elaborate, Federico? You're on mute. I'll ask you to unmute. Well, if you want to type in.
Oh, sorry. Okay. I have a candidate, the Western Alpine and Grana Valley case study in this measuration. Okay, it's a starter point for the.
He got muted.
You're muted again. You were breaking up a little bit. It might be easier to type it in. Let's see. No questions on Facebook so far. If you do have questions on Facebook, pop them into the Facebook chat and we can answer them for you. Federico, if you want to email Ashley or I your question, we can help you as well. So any more questions before we wrap up and let you all get to your application process? Well, it's looking like we have answered all of the questions. So again, please read the blog post that we shared about the Light Monitor grant program. It has a lot of the information that we covered here today. So please take a look at it and email Ashley or I with any of your questions. I'll pop my email in the chat as well. Yeah, and again, just please, if you do have financial means to purchase these, please allow the other people who may not have financial needs to utilize this program, because we really want to use it as a way to take down the barriers for dark sky place applications and dark sky advocacy in general around the world. So if you do have the funds to purchase these devices, please just do that. But if you don't, please apply and we will review the applications. It's going to be hard. We already have 47 applicants. So there are a lot of people interested in these devices. And we will have a limited amount of funds. But again, as Ashley said, if people who do receive the devices share stories and photos about how it's helped the dark sky work, we really do hope to continue this program into the future. Patrick says he will buy the Opal. Nice, Patrick. Thank you for doing that. And Mike too, good to see that. Will Opal offer a bulk discount if a bunch of us want to buy them on our own? Again, I don't think we have any connection with the Opal people at all. We can try to figure that out, but I think because they're pretty affordable, I'm not sure that will be a possibility at this time. Do you have any thoughts on that, Ashley?
No, that's what I was gonna say. I will say I have periodically checked on like Alibaba's website and sometimes they're out of stock. So that happens, try like a week later. I think they're the ones who buy them in bulk. So I don't know how many you wanted to purchase, so you may have to order them in batches depending on how many they have respectively.
Great. Will you have any closing words for the team here, Ashley?
I don't think so. I'm excited that we're offering this program. It's pretty novel, so there's a lot of good implications if you get a lot of feedback from advocates. And if you do have any questions about using these devices, you're always welcome to reach out to staff. Pete Strasser, who's our technical director, is usually the better person for technical aspects with monitoring light for fixtures. So if you were interested in one of the more expensive accurate devices, like the lighting passport link that I put in the chat, or we do get questions about measuring nits for sign illuminance, like that device is also very specialized. So Pete will be your best contact for those. And then if you have questions about night sky monitoring, you're more than welcome to reach out to me as well.
Great. Well, thank you everyone for joining us today. It was great to see you all, and we're looking forward to getting these devices out there in the world. So thank you all for the support. Let us know how it goes if you purchase them on your own, and have a lovely holiday season. Bye, everyone.
Bye.